The one thing you didn't sign up for today was audience participation. Now, all of you, all at once, your line only until I ask you to stop and go! Okay, whoa. That is not a beautiful chaos. If it's not Armageddon, you should be building. Now, here's one of these people who is able to cut through the clutter. He has worked out what to ignore. He consumes the same news. He is subjected to the same fears of his staff. He's subjected to the same pressures. But if it's not Armageddon, you should be building. And it is the most wonderful, again, really smart people are able to take things and really simplify them down.
Who in this room regards themselves as a reasonable person? Reasonable person. We have lots of reasonable people. I'm wondering if that is the best character trait to have in a world that is anything but reasonable. We live in a world where the World Uncertainty Index, which is a collab between The Economist magazine and the IMF, measures uncertainty from 1990 to the present day. And uncertainty fairly stable through the last decade of the 1990s, a big spike up at 9/11. It doubles again into the global financial crisis, doubles again into COVID, and in just 4 years, with the uncertainty around trade and the trade wars, has doubled once again to its most uncertain ever. And I talk a lot about something called the chaos advantage, and it's about how you perceive the world determines the decisions you make about the future and the actions you take as a consequence of that perception. And in the world of fintech, it's really interesting to see how you all perceive a world very differently from the way in which the incumbent banks see the world. And that becomes a strategic advantage for you because they're not going to see you coming.
One last game before I let you go, and it's called Reasonable or Unreasonable Bingo. Loudly, in 3, 2, 1. Nicest man I've ever met. My kids don't believe it because there's no selfie. There were no cell phones, all right? That's my defense, and I stick to it. Deeply unreasonable. And he went against the advice of his senior leaders, of the war cabinet, Lord Halifax and others, who said, we must sue for peace. And then possibly the most difficult of all, and this is going to require spontaneous, and I'm watching and judging all of you. My father. Reasonable or unreasonable? 3, 2, 1. Who said reasonable? One of you said, I think you said reasonable. You never met him, did you? No. A lot of people say, well, what's the point of thinking about a small change? What impact can I have? What change can I bring to the world that's possible? Who am I? And there's a very simple answer to that. And it's a really... They're quite big here in Abu Dhabi. If you think you're too small to make a difference, you should try spending the night in a closed room with a mosquito. Because I'm interested in only one thing. The thing I'm interested in is your growth. I think Margaret and David made it clear this morning that nobody is waiting for you for a launch, for a new product, for a new idea. People are building businesses at an extraordinarily rapid rate. The advancement of cloud technology have enabled people to do digital-first banks. So they've got a huge cost advantage on where you are. Can I give this to you?
I'll accept
Do you
it.
promise?
Yep.
Okay, put your hand on the... Do you solemnly swear to take all of these seriously?
Yeah, I do.
To compile and to come up with the best possible solutions for the future of this bank?
I do.
There we go. Thank you, Coco. You're going to forgive me if it feels like I'm a bit of a name dropper. Because in my job, which I'm very, very privileged to have, which is real work, believe it or not, despite my children saying all you do all day is blah, 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 I get to rub shoulders with some really interesting and influential people from all over the place. And it was like that time I was chatting to Richard Branson, and he told me how... He told me how he'd introduced Nelson Mandela to the Dalai Lama. Speak for 20 minutes, and I was waiting in the wings, because then I was going to do a Q&A with him for 20 minutes. He spoke for 40 minutes. I then walked on stage, I said, but now there's no time for the Q&A. And he went, exactly.